Hey everybody, my name is Keith. Welcome to Transcendence. This is my transgender educational channel. The first topic I wanted to discuss with you guys is a big question most people have when they start out, which is obviously, am I transgender? How do I find out I'm transgender? So I've got a couple of questions that I asked myself when I was trying to figure all this out. Confusing time in your life. These were very helpful to me. They by no means are absolute. Everybody is different, but these at least were helpful to me personally when I was trying to think about this coming out. So the first one I have is, how do you think about yourself when you're dreaming? Because when you're dreaming, it's subconscious, so it's a very different type of thought. It's very internal. Dreams tend to be more true to you on a personal level. So it's a really more objective way of looking at it because you're not bombarded with society and norms and all of the little boxes that we try to shove ourselves into on a daily basis. So that's a really good one to start out with. And then the second tip I have for you that worked really well for me is, do you cross-dress? I used to do this all the time. I'm F to M. I'm a transgender male. I was assigned female at birth. But I was constantly looking for excuses, whether it be Halloween or a comic convention or a dress-up party, something like that. I was constantly going as male characters, despite my actual sex. So if you're doing that, that's also a clue that might help you guys out. Now, the third tip I have for you is, if you play video games, if you're a video game guy like I am, what characters are you choosing? Do you constantly choose an avatar of the opposite gender? Or in my case, I would start out with a female character, play for a couple of minutes, just feel like it was all wrong, and then I would restart the game with a male avatar and play the game that way. So that was a good indicator for me as well. Now, the fourth one I have for you is, when you were a kid, what characters did you pretend to be? I feel like this is also a lot more objective because as an adult, you have societal pressures, you have work pressures, family pressures. As a kid, you tend to not care about that stuff. So looking back at it, who were your favorite characters that you looked up to? Who did you pretend to be? In my case, that was Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles, Mario and Link from video games, Simba from The Lion King. I was always pretending to be a male character. I'm not sure if I ever really pretended to be any female character, at least not in my recollection. Now, the fifth tip that I have for you is, has anyone in your life ever mistaken you for the opposite sex? And when that happened, how did it make you feel? I dressed pretty masculine throughout, especially in my teenage years, and when I got mistaken for the male gender, I was always elated. I was thrilled. It was very visceral reaction that I couldn't really control. So if that's ever happened to you, that's a good indicator as well. So that's pretty much it for the tips and tricks that I can tell you for the time being. The rest of my video is focused on experimentation. If you're not sure, you pretty much have to try things out to figure out how you feel about yourself and how you feel about things. The biggest indicator for me was pronouns. So if you have a really trusted loved one, someone you can confide in, someone that you know you will be safe telling these things to, and that is the key, is safety. Always safety first. But if you have that person in your life, ask them to refer to you by the opposite pronoun. Try it out for a couple days. See how it makes you feel. In my case, that was my wife. She was my trusted person. I asked her to just start using he, him pronouns. As soon as she started doing that, I knew within about 24 hours that I never wanted to go back to my old pronouns. So that was a really good indicator for me that I was transgender. But essentially what it all boils down to is you have to do some critical thinking, you have to do some introspection, and you have to start asking yourself the really big questions in life. Who are you? What do you want out of your life? How do you want people to treat you as a human being? You really just need to sit down in a quiet place, really think about these things, think about who you are, who you want to be as a person. What does that person look like? What does that person do? All of the really important things, you need to focus on those. Now, last but not least, I only have one thing left to say to you. You're not transgender. Now, how did that make you feel when I said that to you? Were you disappointed? Did you feel really let down? Were you even a little bit scared that you weren't transgender? If that was you, chances are you're transgender. Someone did that trick to me. I thought it was mean at the time. I apologize if that's you as well. But the gut visceral reaction to someone telling you you're not trans is really gonna let you know the truth of this. Were you relieved? Were you happy that I told you you weren't trans? If that's the case, then you're probably not. Again, all of these are just little tips and tricks. None of them are definitive. And if you're still not sure, if you're still not questioning, I always encourage everyone to find a gender therapist. Not a regular therapist, a gender therapist. There is a difference. They specialize in these types of things, and they can really help you sort out what's going on in your mind, in your heart, and in society around you. How much of it is just pressure from the outside world? How much of it is actually you as a person? So definitely do that. I will have a separate video on how to find a therapist. So if you like this channel, follow along, and we're going to have a lot more of these. All right, have a great day.